Hello fellow tankers, this is Dauntless and welcome to my new light tank guide videos. The previous videos that I had on my channel were really popular and I really liked making them, but they were just a little bit difficult to make, and to be honest, I was really discouraged and quit making them when Wargaming introduced HD maps just because it made a lot of those guides obsolete. The other thing I did differently back then was I was using replays, both mine and others that I found on replay sites as well as the ones that were submitted to me, to make kind of a compilation of the certain maps that I was showcasing. But unfortunately, with the new micro patches that Wargaming has been releasing, it's really difficult to find good replays back to back before the micro patch hits, and I'm no longer able to play those replays. So in the light of that, I decided to revamp these videos using spots that I have discovered after HD maps had become a thing, as well as other locations that I've just kind of known / discovered via other light tank players that are in my community. And I recruited the help of my brother, and he is going to help me today on the map Fjords, showcasing some of the best positions you can take as a light tank player. Now, this series is going to be broken down into 3 sections, some 2 depending on if there's an encounter assault version, but the first video is going to be a basic guide, how to spot, how to do the initial spotting as a light tank player on these maps. The second video is going to be an advanced video for players that want to learn a little bit more of the in and outs of the map when you're in a light tank with high mobility, good camouflage, and good view range, and those are going to showcase how to push aggressively, how to fall back and play defensively as a light tank player. Now, moving forward, I also want to make encounter assault spotting videos as well, but that's going to be on the back burner for the maps that actually have those available. So that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so the map today is going to be Fjords, and I am playing in my Tier 8 WZ-132, which is my beloved little light tank. I figured this is a great tank to showcase just general light tank play, because it has good light tank characteristics, good view range, good camouflage, and it's just kind of a middle of the road. You can do this in your Tier 5s, you can do this in your Tier 10s, but this is, again, just kind of showcasing middle of the road. My brother is going to be in his 113, which is a relatively mobile heavy tank with poor camo, which will kind of highlight certain areas. It'll make me be able to spot him easier. Some of these locations aren't going to work if you're going after like a tank destroyer with really good camo, but again, this is just a generalization so you guys get a good idea. So when you start on the eastern base of Fjords, you're going to be spawning probably around this location as a light tank. Now, there are a few locations that you can take. I'm going to show you the first and probably the most effective one for early spots in the game. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is beeline it straight for this house that you see right in this area. You're going to want to kind of hug it to the just to the right of it, because fast light tanks, medium tanks, and or heavy tanks driving across that opening ahead of me are going to be able to spot you. You're going to want to duck and weave and get into this group of bushes as quickly as possible. As you can see, my brother spawned in the base, and at the start of the game he was able to get through just seconds after I was in the bush. Now, what's really cool about this location, and I will show you really quick, is up on this hill, and you can't see it because I have this stupid mod, up on this hill up here, this hill is very, very close to the base. Tank destroyers that are quick on their feet, like the Grille, are going to be able to get up into these positions rapidly and will be in position to shoot the second you are in this position. So it's very easy to rack up a couple thousand damage in assisting if you're in this position, spotting anything that's going to be crossing this area. For that. Now I'm going to drive back to the base, and I'm going to show you the second location that you can take when you're playing on this map. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit to kind of give you a quicker glimpse. So when you start off here, you are going to want to take a right, and when you get into this location, it's going to help you spot tanks that are hiding up in this area here. This is a very common area for medium tanks, light tanks, and tank destroyers to be camping at. Now, you're not going to usually find a 113 there. You might, but usually not. Alright, so if that location looks a little bit boring for you, the reason I like it is because it's somewhat low risk, because if you do get lit, you can just jet out of there. This location is a little bit more risky, because if they have an aggressive light tank player that pushes into this area, chances are you're going to get lit, and it could be difficult to get out of the way. Now, you don't want to peek any further than this spot that I'm showing you here, but you can easily back up, and you'll get spots on anything that crosses the opening here or shoots at anything up on the hill. This is a location that you're going to want to hang out for a while, and be very careful about firing here because you will get destroyed if you get lit. Alright, so those are the good spots that I initially like to use when I spot on this map. Depending on the enemy lineup, you can choose to pick any of those locations really, and you can move around back and forth. The first spot I showed you is going to be the most effective, and afterwards you can relocate to those other areas I showed you. Now, when you're playing on the western base, this is a pretty good location that I like to take. Be careful, just because you can get lit from underneath that silo. You can see right here on the right side if there's a light tank in the field in those positions that I showed you. But if you take this position here, it's kind of nice because you are able to spot really anything that pushes across into the opening. You can actually sneak shots into anything up here, and you will get lit, unfortunately, but at least you'll be able to fall down kind of into this hole here and not get shot. This is the safest location that you can take as a light tank player on this map, and you will spot things that push over. And if you have any allies back in this area or tank destroyers hiding here, you are going to get the initial spot if you have good view range, and you will get that assist damage. Alright, so when you get bored of this location and nothing is happening, or you want to be a little bit more aggressive, this is a higher risk, higher reward area that you can take. This is a great location if you're quick enough. Now, it's important that you take this position exactly the way I showed you, and or at the beginning duck around here, just so you don't get lit from early light tanks pushing the field. If you can get into this position early, this is a very, very powerful location, because you are going to be able to spot anything up on the hill and they will have no clue you're there. Multiple games I've played, I've had tanks push up and down here trying to hide behind these trees and trying to, just peek and shoot, get spots, and they were getting frustrated because I was spotting them all day long and they had no idea what was happening to them. So you can see, really common spot for people to take. They're going to be vulnerable to artillery if artillery is sitting down in this area here. It's a great spot, and again, if you have tank destroyers situated down in here, or your medium tanks have taken this hill, they're going to be easy prey and easy assist damage. You can stay here as long as you want, and when the enemy starts pushing you, or if they decide to come through here, good chances are if you back up just a little bit, you're actually not going to get lit. It's very uncommon for people to drive out into the open because they're going to be easy targets for your tank destroyers. So again, if you are in this position and you get lit and the enemy pushes you like this, again, you're welcome to just hang out here as long as you want, because they're going to get lit all day long from you. These trees aren't going to be enough cover for them, especially if they're in a bigger tank like the 113. Alright, so same kind of situation. You can take this location early in the game, and I actually prefer this just because it's very, very common for light tank players to take the positions I showed you when you play on the opposite side. When you sit in this location here, you will not get lit by the enemy light tanks, but anything hiding along that line right there are going to get lit up by you, and it's going to be amazing because they're not going to be able to survive very easily with artillery bombarding them, and they're going to think that they're unlit, and they're going to keep popping out and in, and they're going to be taking damage every time. Alright, so let's say you've been in this situation or this position for a while and you've lit everything that you think you're going to light behind you down in this area. By that time, medium tanks and other vehicles will have taken this hill, hopefully. Now what you can do is when you've burnt this location out, very carefully, staying on the left-hand side of the bushes, you can sneak your way up into this next bush here. What that will allow you to do is spot anything that's peeking behind this little peninsula here, this little ridge. And with that being said, once these vehicles are lit, anything in this area that you have as allies, tank destroyers, hopefully even artillery, playing down in this section here are going to be able to get shots. Alright, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for my basic guide. Now, keep tuned because in a couple days I'll be uploading the advanced guide for this map. But for now, all you have to do to play this map effectively, both from the east or the west side, try those positions. I know some are more aggressive than others, and they might seem really intuitive. Maybe you guys already know these locations. But, I hopefully gave you a few different spots that you can try. Give them all a try, see what you think, depending on how good your camouflage is. Like, let's say that you're in the Bulldog versus the ELC, even 90. Very different tanks with different size profiles, different view range, different camouflage values, etc. So, some places are going to work better than others, and some locations are going to plain suck for the vehicle that you're in. So depending on how risky you're feeling, this is a great way that you can mark your vehicle by getting that high assist damage. So stay tuned for the next video, and if you found this guide helpful and if you like the format of it, let me know down below what you guys think so far. I appreciate the likes as well, or the shares, because it helps me keep pumped for making these videos in the future. So subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the advanced guide of Fjords soon.